A new season for new art, new creativity, new laughs, new stories, and of course, the Media Prince. I welcome you. Conversations with the Media Prince.
Nike Boy.
Hey, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I am your boy, the Media Prince, and I have the pleasure of speaking to yet another caliber beacon I call, who is helping push the area forward in a dynamic way. Um, this king has done so many things. His resume extends beyond bounds. Author, serial entrepreneur, motivator, speaker, curator, cultural shift maker. Yeah, I just say this guy is really connecting the dots, even when he's not knowing he's doing so. But without further ado, I want to introduce this king, Mr. Haywood Donerson. How are you?
Outstanding, Prince. How are you doing today? And let me say thank you for all that you're doing. And you're really becoming a rising icon in our city and in this region. So, and in the nation, because you're national now. So just thank you for leading the way. I appreciate you, sir.
Well, I thank you. That it's an honor to hear that coming from you, especially growing up here. Our legends, unfortunately, sometimes don't get to meet the new legends. You're a legend that's been able to stand the test of time, and I've been able to witness what you've been able to cultivate here. And so it's an honor to not only be able to not only win in this day and time, but to be able to be alongside the people I looked up to in this city.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
makes it like a full circle moment. So for hearing that from you, I feel like I'm well on my way.
Oh, yes, you are. You're definitely well on your way. And I trust me, I'm very observant. So I watch you and I see you moving and shaking. So thank you for what you do. I mean that.
Hey, this means a lot. But speaking of moving and shaking, that's exactly who you are, Mr. Mover and Shaker. So let's go all the way back to where Haywood did first discovered that he had at least an eye of something different than what was the norm here.
Well, let me just start by saying, I wasn't as popular in elementary school and in junior high school as I was in high school. So, because I mean, I was one of those people that was laughed at, teased, even though I grew up in the hood, I was picked on and so on and so forth. But my older brother and them, they were the goons. They was doing their thing and nobody messed with them. So for me, I found my way when I had to get on the percussion and start playing. So once I started playing, and then I seen that I really knew what I was doing. I just stayed in the basement and I just
Mm.
watched. I watched TV and everything with my instrument, just the conga drums because I played in a go-go band. And so with that being said, I just started practicing and practicing and practicing. And once I got good, then I became go-go smacky. And then I was popular all through high school because everyone knew who I was by my instrument. So it was really strange for me to go from laughed at and teased to being the most popular guy in school. So that was definitely something that I had to deal with. But it was music that really helped me to find my little niche. And I was able to meet a lot of people and move around with a lot of different people, like, the street people, like hustlers and everything like that. They love go-go smacky. Even though I wasn't a hustler and I wasn't the hardest dude in the neighborhood, they loved my ability to be able to play and my talent and so on and so forth. So that's why I have a lot of friends still to this day like that. Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's something that's very pivotal that you tapped on.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I even understood to until just now. Music is really the first solid base that really propels this city and all entities of where they want to go.
It really
Um,
does.
it's crazy because there's this debate about, of course, DMV and then the DMV music scene and all of that. And I think the beautiful thing that no one even takes into account is that a lot of the legends that we know and love, their start was in music.
Mm-hmm.
And that really is the key component that I say is our like birthing place for all of the creativeness we have here. And that goes to attest to why I think our music scene is so important.
It is.
Now, with you tapping into the music scene,
Mm-hmm.
when did you know that this was kind of becoming a lane that you see that you can foster something out of this from?
That's a good question, Prince. I would say the more popular that my band started to get as I was in high school and late high school, and then I started to see, there was these opportunities that was happening in DC, but we wouldn't get the opportunities because we wasn't in the cliques of the bands back then. So, make a long story short, we had a friend who had been out to Los Angeles and ventured to Los Angeles before, and he had told us about, hey, you know what, you need to leave, stop being a small fish in a big pond and be a big fish in a small pond. So with that being said, my brothers, friends, and I, we all packed up our equipment and we drove 3,000 miles to Los Angeles to start playing on the beaches of Venice Beach. Then we started, we got kicked off of Venice Beach because we were making too much noise playing the go-go music. And then we started playing, which was actually a good thing because we started playing on the streets of Hollywood Boulevard and Melrose Boulevard and things of that nature. And that's how we got discovered by the record company. They literally forgot a folder at the record company because they were on their way to a meeting with MTV. And they came all the way back and we were setting up our equipment to play in front of the record label. And that's how we got discovered.
Wow. Look
Yes,
at
sir.
that.
Yes,
Look
sir.
at that. And
Yes,
it's
sir.
something else. It's something else you just touched on that and I love this. Hearing people's stories, you just get inspired by what they're saying.
Yeah.
There is a notion with your career that you've always took the risk. Even in everything that you put your hand in, is you taking a risk.
Yes.
And unfortunately, not everyone is strong enough to take that risk.
You're
But
right.
I always say the risk is sometimes the most fruitful.
Yes.
Um, where do you think that courage comes from to take your risk? Because not everybody's just gonna get up and drive 3,000 miles, and then everybody is not gonna write a book. Or everyone's not gonna be a shift maker, a change, cultivator. Like that takes guts and
Yes.
courage. Where does
Yes.
that come from?
That's another great question. You're a good interviewer. So let me just say this though. It came from not fitting in.
Mm,
When you're not fitting in, and I'm the middle child of my family, so I'm not the oldest and I'm not the youngest, so I kind of got overlooked a lot. And I didn't do good in school. I'm a high school dropout. I went back to get my GED. So those things where I was kind of feeling like, hey, you know what? I need to make a move. And then when my son's mother got pregnant, I said I have to do something because I don't have a college. I don't have a high school diploma. I'm not going to college. I don't want to go to the military. So what am I going to do? I need to try
mm,
to figure out a way to make this happen.
mm,
And one thing that you said, and I'm glad you touched on that, the risk. Now you have to make calculated risk, not just any risk. It's got to be calculated. Okay. So my thing is that I tell anyone that, when you're a lot of the times, like you said, the advancement in your life will come from the risk that you take. Now, when I had my son and he's diagnosed with cerebral palsy, so he's disabled, I shut down a lot of my things because I wanted to be here closer to him so I wouldn't take as many risks as I used to. So I slowed down a little bit. So I started getting the regular jobs and things of that nature. But then when you get into the regular jobs, you get your mortgage, then you get your car note, then you get this, that, and the third. You start getting scared to take those risks. So when you get scared to take those risks, you don't have the reward.
mm,
So that's one thing with me. I started taking risks again. Hence, during the pandemic, when everything shut down, I wasn't doing the events and things of that nature. I had to sit and reflect. And I was like, okay, someone I was on Instagram And this gentleman by the name of Sean Prez, who used to work for Bad Boy, and he was just speaking to people because everybody had all this time. So he asked me to come on, and I came on. And he started talking to me about my story, and I was telling him everything that I did, and he was like, "Wow, why don't you write a story? I don't know this guy, but he told me, why don't you write a book?" I was just like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should write a book. So a mutual friend of mine introduced me to my co-author, which is Marvin D. Bryson. He's also from DC, but he was one of the people who worked on big shows like Law and Order and things of that nature. That's why my book is written almost like a script where you really can imagine everything that's going on and happening. So with that being said, me taking the risk to write the book and stepping out on faith again, that's how I'm in front of the Media Prince today.
Hey.
So I'm thankful.
Now, you're also a father and a
Yes.
father of a child with a disability.
Yes.
In that, you've also become a role model because there are other fathers like you and have children that are dealing with the same disability. What has it been like shifting into that role as well? Because that now is something new added to all the things you were already doing. What is that world like? Because that's something that is, I feel like finally has a voice now in the era where people can now rally together versus just battling with their children and disabilities in silence.
Yes.
I think we're in a new arena where there is more outlets to talk to, and you have become an outlet. What has that world been like?
It's been a lot of ups and downs. My son has gone through so many operations and physical therapy and things of that nature. And to back up in my story, that's one of the reasons why I gave up my record deal and moved back from Los Angeles to here to DC, because I didn't grow up with my father like so many young Black men. I didn't grow up with my dad. So I wanted to be in my son's life. This is before he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. So once he was diagnosed, I said, no, I got to be here. So I gave that up and I started working with Montgomery County Public Schools in Maryland. So I got a job there working with disabled children, learning about these disabilities and things of that nature, and learning that, hey, my son could have been way off or worse, way worse than he is medically. So with that being said, it gave me an understanding, and also, Prince, it helped me to have some more patience, because you couldn't move as quick, because you got to take your time, you got to slow down, you got to help them with this, you got to help them with that. So with that being said, I was one of the youngest parents on the PTA board back in the day. So I really wanted to be in my son's life. I really wanted to help him. And even when his mom and I separated, I still wanted to make sure I was there for him. And I gave up custody so that he could live with his mom, because I started to work behind the scenes in the music industry. So that's how I transitioned from being on stage to being public relations and things of that nature years later, because I wanted to try to find a way where, hey, I like to wear suits and look good, but I still like the entertainment industry and things of that nature. And I could still be with my son whenever he needed to go to physical therapy and so on and so forth, or help him out at the doctor's appointment. So I wanted to do that. And one of the other things, I'm going to say this, because, he's already done it. So it's no secret. My son has come out. He's a grown man. He's 33 years. He's 34, just turned 34. So my son is not only disabled, but he's a part of the LGBTQIA community. So with that being said, it gives me such a different dynamic to deal with my son. And one thing that I say, when my son came out to me, I was like, I don't care. My thing is, I was laughed at, teased, called all kinds of gay F word you can imagine. So for me, that's why I relate to so many people, because I was laughed at. So I don't do a lot of laughing at people. I don't do a lot of finger pointing and judgment and all that kind of stuff. So when my son did that, I said, man, you know what? I just care about you being healthy, getting the best physical therapy, us getting a new wheelchair, all those things. That I just really care about you as a person. So I still love you. So my son and I, we were able to work through that and everything. So that has been a really serious dynamic, but I'm still thankful. I love my son with all my heart. He means the world to me, Prince.
I love that. And you just pointed out two things. One, the real true essence of what fatherhood is and what it looks like, and taking it on fully 100%.
Yes, sir.
And the second thing you also did was you also gave hopes to fathers that feel like fatherhood may deter their dreams, but you're letting them know that no, you can still soar at the end, put
Exactly.
fatherhood first,
Yes.
and watch everything fall into place. So
Oh,
you
yes.
did you did those two things. You did those
Yes,
two
sir.
things. So
Yes, sir.
hey, what was that world like though, switching from on stage to behind the stage?
Wow. Another great question. Um, it was a lot, to be honest with you, Prince, because I had been on stage and I had been around celebrities in Hollywood and things of that nature. But when I transitioned to being a public relations specialist, and I was in that world, I was working closely with the OJs, Vivica Fox, Malik Yoba, and all that. And
Wow.
things kind of got away from me because, I wasn't Go-Go Smacky anymore, the conga player. I was Haywood Donerson the third. I wear the suits, and all that. So it kind of got the best of me, and I didn't know how to handle that, to be honest with
Right.
you. So with that being said, I took a lot of bumps and bruises. But when I tell you, I learned a lot, and that was back in 2000, all the way up until now. I'm doing a lot of PR and event planning, and working in the event industry with people like Andre Wells, who are a major event planner here in DC, Kadrika Maiden, and I also was the personal assistant for Miss Priscilla Clark, who's a major public relations specialist here
Yeah, she's
in
a goat.
DC. Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So I was her executive assistant when she opened her
Wow.
firm. So
Wow.
yeah, it helped me. She taught me so many of the X's and O's about public relations and things of that nature. So when I tell you, Prince, God has given me so many different chapters to deal with, so to help to make the man that you're looking at today.
Right, right. And there it is, yet another risk, because that's scary to but be the artist and then become the person now who's responsible for the artist. Like
Yes,
that's a whole different dynamic. But like you said,
yes,
there's so many different chapters, that
it
you had.
is.
And just like it's all condensed in this book. A King's Path,
Yes,
turning
sir.
tragedy into triumph along the way.
Yes.
And reading the title out loud and now talking with you even more, you exude exactly what the title is.
Thank you.
And it really is really that cliche saying, how they say you could just you turn lemons into lemonade.
Yes,
And
indeed.
though it's that cliche saying is so easy to say it, so many
Mhm.
people fail at turning their tragedies into triumph.
Exactly.
And that comes with an incredible amount of strength.
It does.
Um,
It does. People don't
does
even understand. People don't understand how much strength it takes. Like some days when it's just not going right, but you have to get up, you have to fight. I work 14-hour days, 6-day weeks, sometimes 7-day weeks now. But you know what? I still get up, Prince, because we're on a mission. We're on a
a
mission. We're gonna change some lives, sir. We're gonna change some lives. Starting with ours.
and I feel like that's where the awakening begins. I think that's when things start to shift, and a positive aspect and more alignment comes into play. Um, when did you know the book was completed?
Well, there were some scary moments when my co-author had to go into the hospital as we got to the last couple of chapters, and I was like, "Oh Lord, please, please!" I was a little scared. I mean, like, are we going to finish this thing? Because we was working on it for like 2 years, but I stayed with my man, and we was rocking and rolling, and I just said, "You know what? I'm still going to make your payments to you while you're in the hospital because I believe in you, and we're going to finish this book." And then we stayed with it. And then once he got out the hospital, he was feeling better. We just stayed in contact again. We got back rolling. And then he came to my house with the manuscript in a 3-ring binder.
What was that feeling like?
Sir, to literally see your words and then your name on pages, I mean, I've told people this story a million times, and they was like, "Oh, you need to write a story. You need to write a story." But to see it on pages, it really humbled me. It brought tears to my eyes. So that it was amazing, I tell you. And I've always helped other people get their books together. Sorry, excuse me. I'm this this automatic light. Please forgive me. But I've always helped other people get their books out and their projects out. It was time for me to do it. And I said,
Yes.
I'm going to see this thing through. We're gonna press, press, press. Seen a lot of hiccups, a lot of stalled moments, things of that nature. But Prince, when I tell you, I just kept the faith, kept praying, brother, and I just stayed positive and just got it done.
Hey, so what does the man say that now has the final copy out now?
Yes.
Say to the guy that was just crafting the idea of even doing a book and probably having those few doubts.
What I would say is I learned a lesson from the legendary politician and pastor, Walter Fauntroy, Reverend Walter Fauntroy. He said, plan your work, then work your plan. Plan your work, then work your plan. When I tell you, me and my co-author, we met once a week on a Monday. We talked. I would give him stories about what happened in my life. He would give me homework assignments, and I would have to fill in the blanks for the story over that week, and then come back that next Monday, and we would do that over and over and over and over and over again. And you just got to stay consistently. Stay consistent. Stay consistently consistent. A lot of people, we give up or we stop or take. Hey, whoa. Let me just say this one thing, because my book is dedicated to my mother, and I lost her last year, Prince. That was one of the toughest times in my entire life, bro. And I've been through a lot. And my book almost didn't get printed because you know what? I was just like, hey, I can't think about a book. My mom passed.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let me calm down. Let me go back to my steps where I'm at. So I'm at step 8 of 10. Don't give up now. Continue to work my plan. So chilled out. I got refocused again, and we brought it on home, baby. We brought it on
That's
home.
that strength. That's
yes,
that
sir.
strength.
Yes,
Does
sir.
it? And I always say this as we go further and further into who we are and who we're supposed to be on this planet. It does it ever scare you sometimes of how powerful you really are?
I haven't even understood my power, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, I've told people plenty of times where you all see this suited and booted guy, well-dressed, smelling good, looking good, things of that nature. But sometimes in the mirror, I still see that skinny, big lip kid that was laughed at. So I'm just understanding my power and starting to step into my greatness. You see, because I've been a king maker all these years. Now it's time for me to be the king. Okay. So with that being said, you have to understand your power, believe in yourself, have some self-confidence, and rock and roll from there. Because when I tell you, sir, oh yeah, no, I've been behind the scenes for the last 20, 23 years. So now to step back, whoa, this is something, the inboxes are starting to look different. The followers are starting to look different. So, it's just starting. I just have to make sure that I understand, stay even keeled, even after this major interview with the Media Prince, stay even keeled, and just continue to press on and do the work that I need to do.
I like that. What would you say are 2 things you want the readers to take away from this book?
I want readers to take away perseverance. You can persevere through it all. You can persevere through it all, even through the ups and downs. Don't worry about that. There's going to be another door that opens up, that you're going to have an opportunity, no matter what happens at home or what have you, find a way to keep pressing forward. You have to do that. Trust me. And I feel that this is also going to give a lot of nostalgia for anyone that remembers old DC, because To tell you the honest truth, it's loosely based on my life because there was so much sex, drugs, and go-go. I want to protect the innocent as well as the guilty. So, so there's friends of mine whose grandmothers and grandfathers now and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of truth in the book, but I changed up some names and places and things like that so that I can protect my friends and family. But with that being said, I tell everybody, if you want to know about the story, if you can imagine the movie The Five Heartbeats, based back in the late 80s, early 90s of the DC crack epidemic, with a go-go music undertone. Oh, yeah. And that's it. And if you remember The Five Heartbeats, Robert Townsend was Duck. I'm the main character in this story.
Okay, so now that you're touching on that, I think this definitely has the makings of becoming a movie.
You're right, because that's why I was out in LA last year, because they are really talking about trying to do that because they're looking at it as an inspirational story, because not just myself, but my son's struggles and things of that nature that he went through. And I want to make sure I highlight my son because he's gone through so much in life.
And why stop there? Maybe even also a stage play.
Woo! Now you're talking. Now you're talking. Okay. Yes, sir. I see it. Yes, sir. I'm with you.
I mean,
I'm with you. I see it.
Sounds like a king's path to me, right?
Yes, the path isn't over just yet.
Hey.
That's right.
So, what is Haywood's favorite genre of music?
Oh,
aside from go-go.
No. Listen to me. Trust me, I'm very eclectic. So if you ride with me, or now I'm the playlist guy for my family and friends. Everyone loves my playlist. So I like 80s, 90s, R&B, but then I love some smooth jazz. But then I really like slow jams, Luther Vandross, things of that nature. I'm all right to act my age. I'm good. I'm all right. I don't trash the youngest. Trust me, I love the youngest. I was young and I cut up too. But when I tell you, I'm all right with it. I love it. And when I start playing it, everyone's like, I haven't heard that song in years. I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. Yes, indeed.
Okay. So I want to play a game with you called Either or.
Okay,
I play this with everybody. So I'm going to give you some legends. The person you say stays. The person you don't say never existed, never had a music catalog.
Whoa.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Anita Baker or Shaka Khan? Oh, and you get two. I give you 3 Haywood passes. I forgot to give you that.
Okay. I get 3 Haywood passes. Nah, we're not doing no passes, bro. No, I got Anita Baker. Even though I love Shaka Khan, I got Anita Baker. She does something to me.
Okay. Teddy Pendergrass or Barry White?
Teddy P. In my Eddie Murphy voice. Teddy P. You got to get Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay. Luther Vandross or Gerald Levert?
Luther. Now, is it the big Luther or the skinny Luther? Which one?
We go Big Luther.
Okay, if that's the case, without a shadow of a doubt, we talk about Luther.
Okay. Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey?
Whitney Houston. Cracking all. I love that queen. We're gonna rock with her. You hear me? No pun intended.
I love that. Okay. Diana Ross or Patti LaBelle?
You know what, King? I'm gonna do Patti LaBelle. No, I take that back. I'm gonna do Diana Ross because they named the diva joint after her. They got the diva title. They named her diva first. So I'm gonna give it to her. Even though my mother didn't like her played in the house because my mother felt that she did the Supremes wrong. I don't know why my mother felt that way. But I'm gonna go with Diana Ross.
Okay. Last one.
Yes, sir.
Gladys Knight or Stephanie Mills?
Woo! For that one, I'm going to go with Stephanie Mills.
Hey.
When I think of home, I think of place. Yes. Yes, indeedy. Yeah, I gotta go with her. Yes, sir.
And people don't. I'm telling the kids today too because I grew up. I'm a '90s kid,
Okay.
but we have an experience that these kids today would never get to experience, and we were the last generation that got to watch The Wiz. They don't know how. They don't know how lit The Wiz was. I never forget watching it and just was like, why did they even make a Wizard of Oz? They should just made this one.
And I just watched it a few weeks ago. That's how much I love it. Oh,
Hey,
yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, sir.
So before I let you go, please let them know where they can buy the book and where they can find the book so they can be a reader just like me.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you asked that. You can go to www.hd3global.com. That's www.hd3global.com. And then you go to merchandise section and click on the link. It will take you directly to order the book right there. And we have it on Kindle as well as paperback. And I'll be recording the audio version very shortly. So rocking and rolling. hd3global.com.
So that also lets you know that the book is everywhere. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
And
sir.
where can they follow you and find you out on social media?
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram at Mr. D from DC. And you can find me on Facebook at Haywood Donerson III. Haywood, that's Haywood, Donerson with one N, Donerson III. And you can find me on Twitter at HD3Global.
Hey. And what's next for you? You already have so much on your plate. What's next for you now and what's next for you then?
Next, I am looking to really hone in on my public speaking and being a political talking head, things of that nature, being able to get my views because I've worked in so many political campaigns. I've worked on the illustrious Councilman Treon White's campaign, on his first campaign for the city council. I was his communications person, helped him get there. Love that man. So I have a lot to bring in regards to my issues and my views. My friends, my family can tell you I got some views on politics and the world, but it's not conspiracy. It's things that's learned, lived experiences, and things that I can really bring. So doing that, public speaking, as well as my second book is going to be on Generation X.
Hey. I love that you're just unlocking so many different facets of yourself.
Yes,
I think that's the beautiful thing about growth is just
Yes.
unlocking what else we can do, getting out of your comfort zone and taking the risk.
Yes,
Now, before I
indeed.
let you go, what is one model we can leave them off with?
The only place to find success before work is in a dictionary.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. This was Haywood Donerson III. Thank you so much for talking with me. And go grab your copies now.
Yes. Thank you, Prince. You're the best. I love you dearly, King, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hey, we here. Conversations with the Media Prince.
Nike Boy.